Hi everybody. So today we are going to cook some lemon meringue pie. So a few of the videos have gotten, for some reason I took pictures instead of actual videos. So I'm going to actually list the ingredients and list the entire recipe in the description of this video. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to re-record them because I use all the ingredients to make the pie. So I'm actually re-recording this because this also got erased somehow. I just took a picture of myself talking. So yeah, let's get to making some lemon meringue pie. All right, so we're back. I know most people make the meringue last. I like to make the meringue first just because when the pie filling is hot, that's when you want to put the meringue on. If you wait too long, then the meringue won't actually gel with the filling, so it'll separate when you go to cut it. So I like to make the meringue first and just let it sit while I'm cooking the filling. My filling also takes a little longer to cook just because I have an electric stove, so boiling things is a little more difficult. So we are going to take our 5 egg whites from our large eggs, I should say, and our cream of tartar. Get a spatula. And we're going to mix this for about a minute. I'm going to speed it up so that it's not too terribly loud for too terribly long. I also do like using my hand mixer because I can control it a little bit better. But we're going to mix the cream of tartar and the egg whites for about a minute on medium speed until there's like peaks that start forming, and then we're going to do it for about 4 more minutes. So I'm going to speed this part up. I'm going to go a little bit longer just because there are peaks, but they're still kind of flopping over. So we're going to do it for a few more minutes. Okay, now see how it's really forming. I got it on the cord. It's really forming some really good peaks. So we are now going to put in the sugar. I think we're going to put the sugar and the salt in. Let me go back and just definitely check. I haven't made this in such a long time. Yes, we are going to add the sugar and the salt. I lost my place in the recipe. Sorry for that. And we're going to continue to beat it at high speed until we get nice glossy peaks. So here's all the sugar for half a cup. Here's our salt. All right, so I'm going to fast forward this part too, just because it is very loud. All right, see how when you pull the pull the beater out, it leaves like those nice peaks. That's exactly what you want. So now this is all done. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to leave it here until we're done cooking the filling, which we'll go do right now. All right, so we're going to make the filling. We're going to take our 5 large egg yolks. Get a spatula. Get all those egg yolks in there. Now, something I did not say earlier, when you are separating your eggs, if one of the eggs happens to break inside of your egg whites, you cannot use that for the meringue. It will not work. No matter how hard you try, you will not get stiff peaks. The meringue has to be strictly only egg whites. So if you break an egg, you have to start all over and use those other eggs for an omelet. So we're just going to give them a quick whisk. I'm left-handed, so I'm trying to do this slightly backwards. All right, so we whisk that together, and we are going to add our it just says whisk the egg yolks. Interesting. Okay, so these are all nice and whisked. And then in our other pan, we are going to add all the other ingredients together. Like I said, folks, I have not made this in quite a few years. The last time I made this, I was actually in high school. The fellow I was dating his dad was absolutely in love with lemon meringue pie. He is the reason I'm making this pie, actually. So we'll get more into that story. I'm going to whisk together the water. I'm just going to stir it, actually, because I do not want to put a metal whisk in here. So we have our water, our cornstarch, get another spatula. Somewhere in here I have another spatula. There it is. Things like that always seem to hide. So let's see. I probably made this in 2001 was the last time I made this pie. So like I said, it's quite a long time ago. The cornstarch, the salt, the lemon juice, which just reached the top. Now the lemon juice did come from about, oh, there's a seed in there. Did come from about 2 lemons. I suggest buying 3 just in case. I'm gonna have to make sure I actually sift this after I stir it to make sure I did get, I thought I got all the lemon seeds out of here. This is why it's my stay-at-home Hot Mess Express channel, because I literally am a hot mess express. Let's see, the lemon juice and the lemon zest. We're going to mix this all together. It says in our pot, so we'll see. All right, now I'm going to, it says to put this over medium heat. So I'm actually going to sift this really quick once I get all that cornstarch in there, stirred in there. I'm going to sift it real quick just to make sure I got all of those seeds out, because there was 1 seed left in the bottom of that. It was probably only the 1 seed. But all right, we'll go put this on medium heat. We'll sift it first. Okay, so we are back, and I have strained our little mixture. We're gonna pour it. I'm gonna mix a little bit more to get that cornstarch. We're gonna pour it back into the pan. And I have already turned the stove on to medium. Now, the last time I made this was at my parents' house. My parents have a gas stove, so I'm hoping this comes out the same. We want this, okay, so for about 6 minutes we're going to stir this. Okay, so as I was saying, the last time that I made this was probably 2001. I was dating a kid in high school. I had been dating him for close to 5 years. So we got very close to his family. His family got very close to our family. We always summer vacationed um, down where we now live, down at the shore. And his family would come and visit every now and again. And I remember one summer I made this pie, and his dad and his mom and him came down to visit the beach house we were renting. And I just remember he really loved lemon meringue pie. I don't know if there was a special occasion why we made it or what it was. His name was Denny, the father's name, Denny. And he was a jokester. My husband is going to be coming in the door, so you're going to hear him coming through. He was a jokester, and he always made us laugh, always did something funny. And I made this lemon meringue pie and proceeded to put it in front of him. He was so excited, and I smashed it in his face. Now, we all got laughs out of it, and there was a second pie, so we all got to eat some pie. But it was, pretty funny. Everybody was laughing. Everybody thought it was funny. So this pie is actually, I really hope the children like it. It is a very good summer pie, but it's in memory of our friend Denny. He passed away a few weeks ago, surprisingly, unexpectedly. Too young, way too young. And hopefully his, humor lives on in his family and everybody's lives who he touched. So we've got a few more minutes on this. I'm going to speed up the video now. And we'll come back when it's nice and bubbling. Okay, so it has begun to thicken. It's very warm. So I'm turning the heat down to low. So now it's on low. It's beginning to get nice and thick. Just try to keep the consistency fairly even. Now this part can be very difficult. So because I have an electric stove, I'm going to move to the other side. I hope you can still see. You cannot see. So I'm actually going to try to move the camera over to the other side too. We'll be right back. Okay, because I have an electric stove, the burner stays very hot, which is why I moved it over, because I don't want it to cook too much. So we are going to, and I of course lost my place on my phone with everything that's going on. So we've already gotten this going for about 6 minutes. It began to thicken, so we turned our heat down low. I'm going to let that burner cool off while we do this part. So we're going to take, and we're going to try to stream it into the eggs very slowly. We're going to take a spoon, and I think I'm going to try to drizzle it right over top. So we're going to take a spoonful, and hopefully you'll be able to see me do this. I'm going to push this back a little bit so you can. So this burner over here is not on. So I'm going to put this over top of the whisk very slowly because we don't want to cook the eggs, and it is hot. And we're going to just whisk that in there. We're going to take another one. And we're going to drip it in very slowly. I'm doing it right over top of the whisk, so the whisk is catching most of the heat, I'm hoping. And we're going to whisk it in there slowly, because the last thing we want is to scramble our egg yolk. So once you've gotten 2 or 3 spoonfuls, you can then slowly add this to your pot. I'm going to do another spoonful. think that's going to be very good. So I can kind of see how it's thickened it up. So it's thickened it up pretty well. I'm going to get my little scraper and scrape some of this off of there, because I'm not going to use the metal whisk in my pot. The one good thing is it's cooling off right now. Everything in the pot is cooling off right now. So that's the one difficult thing about electric stoves. It's kind of a learning curve. You learn as you go, but that heat definitely retains. Okay, I'm gonna put the whisk aside. We don't need that anymore. I can probably take my spoon out of here too, because I don't need that anymore. We'll leave the metal one in there. Okay, so I'm going to very, very, very slowly. I don't know if I can get the camera any closer. There we go. I'm going to pour this in here while stirring at the same time, because like I said, we do not want to scramble it. This is called tempering the eggs. It can be very tricky, but if you're patient and you're quick, it can work. See how that's nice and smooth? There's no chunks in there. That means we did not cook any of the egg, which is very good. I'm going to scrape some of this off into there to make sure we got all the goodness. Bino thinks he's going to get some. Here's me cooking. I probably should have grabbed the larger scraper. That's okay. All right. Stir that in. And now I'm going to move the camera back to the other side so we can go back to our burner. But see how it's nice and smooth? It's not chunky at all. It's just a nice, smooth filling. All right, we'll go back to the other side. Okay, we are back to the other side. Maybe I should cook on the other side. I can get closer to the burner that way. Just thought of that now. We're not going to do that right now. So once that is all in, we are going to, so all the beaten eggs are in there. We're going to turn the heat back up to medium. We're going to leave it on low, actually. If you have a gas stove, you can turn it back up to medium. This is going to get warm fairly quickly. I might bump it a touch. I don't want to have to worry about cooling it off again. And we're going to stir this. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add our sugar. I almost missed that. I was wondering why there was a thing of sugar sitting here. All right, so this is going to get, we are going to bump this back up to medium. We're not going to have to cool it off. So we are going to wait until this gets nice and bubbly. I am going to have to move to the other side because we have to completely remove it from the heat. It's looking super, super nice. So it's going to get even thicker and it's going to bubble. We don't have to constantly stir it. So I'll give you a nice closer shot how nice and yellow that is. It's so beautiful. So it's starting to bubble now. So I'm going to stir it once again. We're going to leave it on just a little bit longer. Once we remove it from the heat, that's when we're going to put the butter in. So don't think that we forgot to add the butter in there. Now the recipe does say to whisk. I prefer to just stir in these metal pots that, you know, are not stainless pots. All right, it's bubbling pretty good. So I'm going to remove this from the heat and now we're going to put the butter in there. So I'm going to move back to the other side. I'll let you see the bubbling. You can kind of see it bubbling, breaking all over. All right, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. We are bubbling. We are going to add our 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm not actually sure if I said that in the beginning. We needed 2 tablespoons of butter. It's been sitting out at room temperature, so it should melt fairly quickly. So we're just gonna stir and stir until it's all incorporated in there all evenly. Closer so you can see. I hear the kitty cat. Our cat's name is Cat, for anyone who's wondering. And for all those concerned about the temporary tattoos on the children, they are actually little rewards for them going potty on the toilet. So every time we make it a day, they potty on the toilet, especially number 2s, they get to pick out a new tattoo and where to put it. Of course, they want to see them most of the time, so it's on their arms. All right, now everything is incorporated in there. We're going to go and we're going to put this in our pie crust, and then we're going to top it with the meringue. So we will be right back. Okay, so we are now back. I'm going to put the meringue in the pie. Try to not get my hand in the way. So we actually, our Massachusetts family is visiting today. So we're gonna share some of our pie with them, which is why I waited to make this pie. Like I said, I'm not sure if the girls will even like it. This is as close to tasting a lemon that they're going to get for now anyway. I'm not going to give them just a straight lemon. Get all that nice goodness out. And this is why I like to make the meringue first, because now this is nice and piping hot and it's going to kind of marry with the meringue. So we're going to take our meringue, just going to put it right on top, kind of spread it all the way to the crust as evenly as possible. We have a lot of it. I'm going to show you the trick to get the nice peaks. But you want to make sure that it goes all the way to the crust so that your meringue doesn't sweat while it's baking. You can even cover over the crust if you'd like. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I'm gonna spread this. I hear Beano over there. He must be having a grand old time licking his chops. I don't know if he can smell it or what it is. So I just spread this so that it's fairly even and smooth-ish. It doesn't have to be perfect, like I said, because we're going to go in there. Easy there, buddy. He must have some kind of an itch that he can't reach, so I'm going to have to go scratch him after I'm done with this. Just want to make sure that we're all the way up to the crust everywhere. I don't want anything getting all weird and weepy. My hands are clean, I promise you. Alright, now what I'm going to do is, because that does not look like the normal lemon meringue pies that I'm sure you see when you're out and about and buying, so take a spoon, just a regular, this is a tablespoon, you can use a teaspoon, and just kind of flip it up, and you'll get those little peaks. Now the longer you mix, the more stiff your peaks will be. So if you want, before you put it on the pie filling again, you can mix it again real quick with the mixer. But you can just dip it in there and just pull it right straight back up, and you'll get some nice peaks out of it. Kind of reminds me of like marshmallow. I could sit here and play with meringue all day. It's so fun. Hi, Beano. You know, I try to make it somewhat uniform looking, but it doesn't have to be perfect. But now you have all those nice little peaks, and they'll get nice and golden brown on top. So we're going to put this in the oven. It is at 350. I'm going to put it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to check it at 20. We may have to leave it in for 5 more minutes, but we'll give it a check at 20 and we'll be back. All right, so the pie is out. It was in for 20 minutes. That's all it needed in our oven. You can see the peaks are nice and golden, and they're nice and tall. I'm trying to get a level view. Don't mind our crazy fridge covered in children's artwork. So that is my lemon meringue pie. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if there's anything I forgot, I'm going to go off into the corner, read, and I'll be right back. But there is the finished lemon meringue pie product. Okay, so there are a few things I forgot. So once the pie comes out of the oven, it needs to rest on the countertop for an hour. Then it needs to go back in the refrigerator for 4 hours before it's eaten. It's best if it's eaten within the first 1 or 2 days. The first day is obviously going to be the best. So if you're up bright and early cooking, then you'll be able to eat it for dinner. I was not, so the kids are going to try it tomorrow. Like I said, we have family coming down today. Everybody's going to have the pie tomorrow. We're all going to taste it. Don't forget to make your pie dough or your pie crust the day before so it can be refrigerated. Anything else that I'm forgetting? I don't think so. Hopefully you'll see more cooking videos now that I have my new camera. So thank you so much for joining me and have a great day. See you tomorrow.